Alright. I don't know if this thing is working, but my camera is not hooked up, so I gotta reset it here. Give me a minute. Alright, let's try it again. I'm hanging out on May the 4th. Let's see. Sorry. I haven't done this in a little bit. Had like a month off because I've been really busy. Video capture device. Okay. There we go. It's working. All right. Okay, now this one is supposed to be me big like this, so you can see what the heck is going on here. Ta-da! My giant pile of clothes to my left over here. Super cool. All right, let me got my controller set up. Let me turn it on, plug it in. Gonna do drone practice. I have not touched this since the end of March because joystick, cool. Because I just been super busy, which I'll talk about in a minute. Give me one moment here. Let me pull up the drone simulator. My laptop's desktop is so crazy right now. I've saved so much stuff on this screen and not organized it, and I do not know where. Let me get Velocidrone up here. Velocidrone, there we go. Oh, there it is. It's gonna work. Hope I don't open 2 copies of it right now because it'll take forever. Hang on, let me pull up my phone so I can see what everybody else is seeing here. And it is YouTube. Alright, cool. Me, my channel. Says I'm live. And it's working. Alright. Neil, how you doing? Is this a voice projection? Heyo! It's good to see everybody again. It's been a little while. I'm gonna put my phone over here so I can see it. My whole room is like a big giant disaster right now. Hold on. Let me take these glasses off my head. Oh, get the Velocidrone loading up. Oh, excuse me, I'm not stripping down. Sorry about that. Got to show off my May the 4th shirt that I've had for like 12 years probably, and I try to wear it every year. I think I've missed 1 year since I got it, but it's the only day of the year that I wear it. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, Velocidrone is loading so slowly. You know why? Because I loaded 2 copies of it. I really only needed to load 1. Alright. Got Velocidrone turned on. And streaming studio. I'm out of practice with this thing, as you guys can probably tell. Got my hat, it's all janky. Whew, I'm kind of tired right now. And I've had like a lingering bit of a cold ever since Japan. We went, I got like a cold right in the middle of the trip. Felt like it went away. But then I've been super busy ever since, and it hasn't quite left. I have like a little remnant of it. And I feel pretty good for most of the day. And then right at the end of the day, it kicks up. Oh my gosh, hang on a second. Let's give me a minute. Video capture device. Okay. See if I can get this to work. Activate. I don't know what's going on. For some reason, if I turn off my camera for a while or unplug it and then plug it back in, sometimes it just doesn't reload it into this OBS studio that I use to do my live streams, and that is stupid. But then I just set it back up again. Oop, let's try it. Add existing. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now it's working. I'm going to crop myself down real small at the bottom so I'm not hoarding up my whole drone page. And now, what am I sitting on? I swear I've got like power converters for European power just on my chair for some reason. I'm not going to Europe anytime soon. I don't know, not that I know of. Alright, that's going on here. I just moved a ton of stuff from all around my house Some of it moved into the room a little prematurely because we have company. Oh my God. All right, let's see here. Let me switch over. You guys are seeing the correct screen. And let me get to drone mode. I have not practiced in months. So since end of March, I think is the last time I flew. All right, here we go. What was the one I was checking out before? Continue. Got it. I almost forget how to do this. Apocalypse. Let's go to Dynamic Polyworld. See if there's any new ones. Look at that. Twin Tour. Let's try this one. No, let's try this one. It's got 5 stars. Fly. All right. How was Celebration? Celebration was real cool. I had a fun time. Just being in Japan was really cool. Oh, this is lame. Yeah, just being in Japan was super cool. It was my 3rd trip to Japan, which is awesome. Now, let me tell you about Celebration. We only went to Celebration on Saturday because we're in Japan, and I'm like, I don't want to go all the way to Japan and spend the whole time at a convention center. So we did Saturday at Celebration, and when I got there, my wife was like, do you want to get any like souvenir shirts or anything? Because the way the setup was is hold on one second. I actually have to. I'm hearing myself in my headphones, and it's really, really delayed, and it's screwing with me. All right, so Celebration was awesome. You get there, and then they have the Celebration gift shop outside of the convention center, like is another building. And on the way in, we're passing it. My wife's like, "You want to get any souvenir shirts or anything?" I'm like, "No, I don't really. I have way too many T-shirts." So I was like, "I'm not gonna get another shirt, just to like hoard up my closet space." I'm switching tracks, but I was like, "But I will, if I can, get one of the stage crew shirts from the Star Wars Live stage, because I got one a couple years ago. You guys may have seen I did that thing with Anthony Carboni and Anthony Daniels." And Anthony Daniels and I put C-3PO parts on Anthony Carboni. It was really neat for me. And I got a crew shirt when I did that, so because I was coming back and forth from behind the stage and so forth. And I was like, I would like to get another crew shirt, even though I'm not really doing anything this year. Well, I walk into Celebration. I'm in there maybe 10 minutes. I don't even think I'm in there that long. And I walk up to the main stage, and my friend David Ferreira is driving the little RX droid that drives around on stage and talks. Like, he's puppeteering that, and he's gotten really good at it, and they've been hiring him to do the stage show, which is very, very cool. And I wanted to say hi to Dave, so I went up to the side of the stage and was trying to figure out where he was at, because I see the droid driving around, but I couldn't see him yet. And as I'm standing there, Anthony Carboni comes walking by, and he's like, "Gordon," he's like, "come backstage." And he just pulled me backstage. I was in there for a few minutes, and I'm already backstage. Now here's my chance to get my crew shirt. And he goes, "Oh, you're just in time. Anthony Daniels is going to be here in like 5 minutes." And so lo and behold, Anthony Daniels is there, and it was like just crazy, because like some of the main things I would have liked to have done if their like wish list of Celebration happened like immediately. So I got to hang out and chat with Anthony Daniels for a few minutes, and he remembered me from last time, and he asked me, he remembered like the eyes that I was designing, because he really liked my eye design, which made me feel pretty good. It's coming from him. And we talked for a little bit just about his suit stuff, and if he's going to be doing suit work and all this. And then he went on stage. He came back. We talked a little more. And then Anthony Carboni's like, "Man, I really want you guys to get a photo together," and put us in the tube where they're shooting all the celebrities behind the scenes. So I got these really fantastic pictures with Anthony Daniels in like the tube, where like if you've seen any pictures from Celebration, it's like every one of the actors is getting these photos in this tunnel, and there I am with Anthony Daniels. And it turns out my friend Wes has been the photographer for that for a long time. I've known Wes for probably 13 or 14 years now. And he's from Florida. He lived in Orlando, and I knew him long before he was into Star Wars stuff. And then he's a good photographer. I started to hire him, so now he does all the celebrity photos at Star Wars Celebration for the last like 3 or 4 celebrations. So it was cool because he was back there. So we hung out. Anthony Daniels said some very, very, very nice things to me that made me feel really good, which I might discuss in like another video later. It was really cool. I liked that a lot. And then I left and went walking around. I saw my friend Fawn Davis, who actually was on the plane with me going to Tokyo. I saw him at the airport. And was like, Fawn. And apparently he's on the new Industrial Light and Magic show, Light and Magic, that's on Disney Plus. But he's been worked on so much cool stuff. Really, really cool guy. So I went from backstage and we walked around. I saw my friend Marty Matias, that was the Vane in Mandalorian and in Skeleton Crew. We talked to him for a bit, and then I went to Fawn's panel, and then hung out with Fawn for like an hour after that. And then I was going to go walk and see if I could see like Sam Witwer and Ahmed Best, because I knew they were doing autographs. And I passed their tables, and there was a big line for Ahmed, but he wasn't there. And then I cruised back through, and then I see that he's actually on the main stage. So I'm like, well, let me put on my cruise shirt that I got. I got my cruise shirt that I wanted, and went backstage again with my wife this time. And then Ahmed came down, and we talked for a while, because I hadn't seen him in like 2 years probably. And it was really nice. So that was fun. And then I took photos with my wife in the same cool too. My friend Wes got photos, which I still haven't got the full res photos yet. He's supposed to send me a link to a folder with all of them soon, and he hasn't sent it yet. So we'll see if we get those. Let's see what it say. Nerd karma for being a good nerd. I hope so, man. I'm trying. But yeah, that whole thing went really nice. Everything was just like, felt very Matrixy. Like, is this real? Am I in a simulation and all these good things are just happening suddenly? It's pretty cool. But yeah, celebration was fun. Hung out the whole day. Saw lots of people. A lot of my friends from the U.S. were there, which is kind of fun. And then we left. And we went back to, it was all the way in Chiba, which is it's like part of Tokyo, but it's like way down on, it's pretty far from like where our hotel was. We stayed up in Shinjuku. And so we had to take the train back, and we had a really fun time in Japan. Japan trip was awesome. The whole trip went great until the very last day, which we started out in Tokyo, and then we hang on, let me change tracks here and get flying so I'm not wasting my hour on not flying. I'm going to go to the apocalypse. It's just always a winter. So basically, we started out in Tokyo, and we booked our plane tickets a long time ago, like last year, probably right after they announced Celebration. We got a ticket to Celebration, and about, I don't know, a month later, we bought our tickets to go to Japan. So we've had them for a while. And then we decided that we wanted to go to Kyoto, which is on the opposite side of Japan almost, from Tokyo. And we're like, well, we got to fly back out of Tokyo to Haneda. So let's swap the tickets to see if we can go out of Osaka, which is a lot closer to Kyoto. And like a lot closer, like 20 miles away. So we go in and we trade out the tickets. We had had to sacrifice our good seats. There were like window seats and stuff, and for like these super middle of the plane kind of seats, but they swapped it for free. Everything was good. And then we did Kyoto for a couple days, and then getting ready to leave. The day we're leaving our hotel, we're packed up. I literally have my stuff in my hands, and I'm checking the train to see, what the cost is, make sure I'm getting on the right trains and all of the stuff. And depending on what terminal you get off at Osaka Airport, it's a little bit different pricing, just because like they charge more per stop kind of thing. So I was like, okay, what terminal? And my wife goes to check, and lo and behold, something went wrong, and we're still flying out of Tokyo. So we had like a really, really panicked morning where we're 300 miles away from the Tokyo airport in barely time to spare. So we ended up having to literally run from our hotel to a bus stop. Just caught the bus, just barely. Took that to Kyoto Station. Barely got on the next bullet train. And they run them pretty often, but we really needed to get this one or we were going to miss the bus at the other end, which only comes every 40 minutes. Just caught our bullet train. Made it all the way back to Tokyo. Made the bus, and we made it to the airport in Tokyo. All the way from Kyoto. That morning, we didn't know, the time we were leaving the hotel was like a comfortable time to go to Osaka airport. And we just ended up going 300 miles to a different airport. And it was very expensive because we had to buy 2 train tickets on the freaking bullet train, which is not cheap. It's like, I don't know, probably cost us over $250 for us to make that mistake. So, yay, that was great. But it was still fun. We made it, so now it's a cool story. But that day was very stressful. I don't know. Finally flew international with 3PO and you didn't get destroyed. Whoa, where'd you go international with 3PO? Did you go to Europe? Or did you go to Japan too and I didn't see you? Your voice is echoing a little. Oh, let me check. Sorry about that. Let me check my, hang on, let me listen here. I think I know what's happening. Sorry about that. Hold on, I think I got it. Oh yeah, I see what's going on. Alright, check that. Sounds better now? I think I got it. I think that'll fix it. Oh, you went to Toronto. So they contacted me for that. That's cool. They contacted me about that, and me and another person. Wow, there's a police action going on. Me and another person got contacted about it, and they were gonna book us, and then they were like, "Are you in union?" And I said, "Yeah, because I'm in the actors union." And then they decided not to book me, and the same thing happened to my other friend. And so now that makes sense. I'm glad you got it at least. I don't know what it was for. I didn't get any details, but that was I was kind of like, oh, cool. I was excited about it, and then it just went away because they contacted me, and then I was like, oh, sorry. That's really cool. How'd the shoot go? Yeah, it's so weird that I guess because if you're in union, you get a bunch of residuals. When they do a shoot like that, they pay a lot for like usage and stuff. So hopefully you charge them enough. And I don't know if they gave you a buyout or not, but typically a shoot like that, if it's commercial, depending on the daytime, probably like $1,200 a day to travel and then shoot, and then you get kind of like a residual and or usage checks for every time. You get some checks for every time. If they were going to run it for a certain amount of months, you'd get a check, and it'd be like, $700, $800, and then it would be usage for this amount of time. And then if they wanted to extend it, you get another check like that. But if you're not union, they don't have to do that. And typically they offer a buyout. So if you kind of know what the union rates are, you could kind of hit them up for close to the buyout price. But that's cool that you got it. Yeah, when it went away, I was like, oh, that's weird. I just today had a conversation about that because my friend that was supposed to go, I was like, oh, did you go to Canada? He's like, no, they ended up not using me. He had, literally was like same as me, where it was like getting ready to pack our stuff, and then they're like, no, they didn't use me because I was union. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's why they ditched me, because they didn't give me a reason why. They're just, no, they're not going to need you anymore. I was like, okay. But then he was told that it's because he was in the Screen Actors Guild. So, good job, Screen Actors Guild, for getting us punished. Punished. It was a mask off thing. They were making a commercial about cosplayers, so I didn't wear the helmet. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Did Alex contact you about it? I literally had no idea like what the thing was. I mean, your suit looks freaking great, man. I think your suit is one of my. When I see photos of you in your suit, I think it's one of my favorite of like the 3PO costumer guys around. I feel like yours, the proportions are really really good. So it's one of those. Um, like whenever I see it, I'm like he's gonna do really well with this thing because it looks good on you. But it's cool. Did you get to wear like your did you wear a balaclava still, or were you just like just your head was totally sticking on your costume? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exactly the one that I was supposed to be on. That's interesting that they had you on mask. I wonder if that's like another reason too. That's really cool. Did they interview you at all? Or like, did you get to have speaking in the commercial, or were you just like shown on camera kind of thing? You'll have to send me the video when it comes out. You get 2 years to build up the work before celebration. Dude, yeah, man. And it's good that you're on Alex's radar. That's awesome. Um, that's because if he's contacting you, that's good. Your suit looks really really good, um, and I think that's beneficial. Honestly, like not being union for some of these might actually be good. I got some ESPN commercials a few years ago before I was union, and I think that was kind of the reason I got them too, is because I was non-union at the time, and they flew me to Connecticut, and we did like I can't remember if they did two or three. It was like this. They used a lot of the same footage, but they had multiple edits of the footage with like kind of like pushing almost the same exact scenarios, but one was like 3PO goes through the office and does these things, and then the other one was Chewbacca goes through the office and it does the exact same actions that 3PO did. So there's two versions, but there's 3PO and Chewbacca in both commercials, but one Chewbacca is more featured and one 3PO is more featured, but it's like the same commercial. Um, and then I think they had like like a shortened version with like the same clips. So it wasn't like we shot three different things. It's like they did three edits of what we shot. If that makes sense, dude. I would love to. If you need a Wrangler or anything, keep me in mind. I will definitely be there. And I think that right now McMaster and Chris Lee and I are trying to figure out what we're gonna build for the convention because it's here in LA. So it's a little easier to make some props. Like we built that big sand crawler a few years ago. It was humongous. It was a ton of work. So we want to do something maybe not quite that grand, but we might do like another photo op that's big, like a cool area. We've got some ideas um, of what to do, but not nailed down till totally nailed down yet. But yeah, should be good. And then let me see what else is going on. So went to Japan. We went to Disney Sea the day before we went to Star Wars Celebration, and that place is unbelievable. Oh yeah, I saw photos of your R2. The picture you posted. It's finally done. It looks really good. Looks very very good. Do you have a way that you can kind of control it while you're in the suit, or do you have to have a separate driver? Because I always wanted to do an R2 that I couldn't drive around with the suit on, but that I had controls to turn his head, so I could make him look at the camera without like animate him and make it do some sounds. I always thought that'd be really cool. Like I'd still have to have like a real controller to drive him around and stuff, but that way the drive motors are off, so I don't have to worry about him driving out of control or something. But I could be there and not have to have a an R2 driver watching him all the time, and I could just have R2 converse with 3PO whenever I wanted, which is a lifesaver when some kid comes up and asks you some weird question and you don't know the answer real quick. You're like, and then like, let me ask R2. And then I'll like, look over to R2 and R2 will make some noises. And by that time, I've come up with a good answer. And I can just say that R2 says that it's whatever. And I can say crazy stuff because if it's R2 saying it, it's not 3PO. I can say whatever and just blame it on R2. And it's funnier. And the kids are like, oh my gosh, R2's crazy. And the parents know it's really me coming up with that, but it's pretty fun. Wow, it feels weird flying a drone thing around. By the way, I have not flown. I looked at the last date I flew was into March. What else? Oh, and so earlier in April, right before Japan, I went to Florida to play a show with my band in Miami. And that was a fun trip. It's like 5 days, and I got back for almost 5 days, but super busy. Went to Japan, got back, and then my wife shot a short film like the last 3 days. We finished shooting yesterday, but it literally feels like a week ago. 3 days, but it was like a whole cast and crew were going to be at our house, so I had to do all this crazy stuff around the house for days. So it's just been nonstop. And then today is the first day that was kind of slow. But then my brother's coming to town on Wednesday, and I thought he was coming next week. So now I got to like fix my whole office here so that he can sleep in here. It's a disaster. So yeah, got to have a driver. I coded an automated mode for him so that for him to do that sort of stuff. See, that's like I kind of one of the things I would like to do too is have an automated where he can just sit and chatter. But I do want to have some kind of built-in controls for 3PO where I can move his head and just have like 3 banks of random chatter where it's like, just generic sounds, happy sounds, and then like angry or sad sounds kind of. And then I could just kind of choose what emotion he has when if I say something to him, he can respond like, in an appropriate beep or whistle. And or if I ask him a question, he can answer, or he can, when little kids come up and they want to say hi to R2, R2 can beep at them. That's pretty much what I want to do. Oh my god, look at that, flying through the windows. So that was great. Has your brother stayed at this house before? My brother has not stayed at this house before. My brother used to come out just about every year until COVID, and he has not been out here since COVID. So he came out from like 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and then 2020 happened, and COVID kind of screwed it all up. And I think he was going to come out in 2021, but I had all those knee problems, and I had surgeries and stuff, and I didn't have any money, so I was like, maybe don't come out right now. So I had to push it. So this is the first time. He's never been to this house. And I'm excited to take him to some of the places up this way. He likes hiking and outdoor stuff a lot. So, and his fiance is coming with him. And I've taken my brother a long time ago. We came out here to go to Devil's Punch Bowl, and we went to we've been to Vasquez Rocks and stuff. And I've been to Vasquez a ton of times now that I'm out here, and there's a lot of trails out there that most people don't go explore because they just want to see the big rock formation, but there's some beautiful, really, really cool like little canyons and stuff. They're all rocky and just really, really neat, and they're an easy hike from the parking area. So I'm going to take them down there, just do a lot of outdoorsy stuff. Because the short film my wife just did, we ended up spending so much money that we don't have to spend, but we spent it, and hopefully the thing comes out really good. I got to be a character in it. I had a scene where a bottle gets broken over my head, and it's like a breakaway fake glass. I don't think it's sugar. I think it's made out of like one of those resins that's really good for breakable bottles. But it still cut you a little bit. So I got some little cuts on the back of my head, and we had to do multiple takes just to try to get it, a few versions. So but it was good. At the very end of the thing, I have like a really long monologue, and then at the very end of it, I get the bottle busted on my head, and that monologue is like, it's tedious, and if I flubbed any bit of it, I'd have to go all the way back over, start it over again. And I did it pretty good at most of the times, but yeah, every one there was like a little thing where I was like, man, I could have done it better, and then I just got a bottle busted over my head. But we're gonna in the film, it's gonna hopefully be a continuous take, so there's no cutting away from me from that long speech to the bottle break. It's gonna be just one shot, and because it's kind of like, well, this one was really close. We'll keep it and do it, and then in a pinch, if I fail somehow all the times, then we can always like do some cutaways to some of the crowd reaction as I'm speaking, and that would easily break it up and fix it. But we don't want to do that anyway. Maybe you should incorporate hand gestures. So yeah, Neil, that's like exactly what I want to do. That's like when I was holding my hand up and doing this is exactly what I was thinking. It was like I would have like the sounds, just maybe like a little magnetic switch between the fingers, so I could go, do something, and maybe like some signature sounds on one hand. I don't even think I need this. I just want the most generic kind of sounds. I don't want the like the scream, or maybe I do. I don't know. And then this hand would have like a left and a right, depending on what I would do. But it's exactly how I would want to control it. Gears McTinkersome. One would have to be careful. One puts one thumb at all times. This is true. This is true. But the thing is, if you do it where it's, basically like the signal's coming by touching my fingers, like if I was to touch something else, it wouldn't necessarily trigger anything unless my fingers touched those magnetic switches. And it would essentially be on off. Like there wouldn't be like subtle control of R2's dome. It would just be like left, right, that kind of thing. But I think it could be pretty cool. Let's see what else. So I went to Florida. We stayed in Miami. The band played a show. I haven't been to Miami in like a little over a year, I guess. And the last time I was down there, I went by my childhood house, which was really weird because I haven't seen it since I was like 6. Um, this wasn't the time I went down last month. This was like the previous time I was in Miami. Um, and I went to my grandparents' old house, and the people who owned it, the guy just happened to be outside, and I told him my grandparents just living here. He was like, "Oh, you want to come in?" And he like invited us in. I got to go in my grandparents' old house. It was super weird. It was pretty awesome. Um, and most of the house looked almost exactly the same. It had the same wood floors it did when I was a kid, and they extended the back of the house a little bit, so that was interesting. There used to be this huge, crazy tree behind the house that I really liked, and they had to remove it to extend the house, which is a little bit sad. But I guess with hurricanes and everything, a giant tree behind your house is not the safest thing. Um, Oops, I hit power lines. R2 is a cheeky droid. He can spout off for no reason occasionally. Exactly. And honestly, like when I'm doing 3PO stuff and R2 is there, it's so much better. So much better because I can bounce things off, or R2 can make a noise, and it just sets it up like a nice improv situation. Gives me some chance to think about things, or his response with whatever the tone is can kind of inspire what I have to say, so I can like respond to the person that R2 is talking to, or I can respond to R2 and just be active. So even if like, if you're doing a photo op but nobody's there taking a photo, I will typically talk to R2 like he's my little friend, just so that I don't look static, like I'm just standing there doing nothing. And I like it. Oh, damn it. What the hell did I do? Oops, bounced off the coffee cup. But yeah, my wife spent a lot of money this weekend filming her movie. So hopefully it's cool. The footage and everything I think looks really good. We were trying to get like an ARRI Alexa or something, or what is the camera? One of those ARRI really nice digital cameras, but we couldn't afford the rental. But we had access to Blackmagic, and the footage looks really good. We used them before for some other things, and it was nice. So for my wife's first little film that she's done, it was pretty ambitious. We had a bunch of extras. We got this this guy. He's done some commercials. He's done some Doritos commercials and stuff. Let me see if I can. I'll show you one of the guys that was in it. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pause this game really quick. I'm gonna go back to me. Hi. I'm gonna see if I can find this guy. He was in the commercials. He's got a really cool look. He's like really skinny, and and tall. Like would be a good like zombie character. He's just like really thin. Yeah, here's the commercial. It's Sam Elliott and Little Nas X. And when I saw him, I'm like, man, do I know you? I feel like you look really familiar. And he's like, oh, he's in some shows. This is the dude right here. Let me pull it up so you guys can see. Hang on a second. His name was Johnny, I think. Sorry, it's boring if you can't see my screen. Let's see. We're gonna go to video capture. Let's go to display on. Turn off game capture. All right, let's go over here. Boom. So this is the guy, the skinny guy. Look at it. Look, he's like real skinny, real tall. Such a cool look. Let's see if they show his face any better. That's him. But he was there, and he works with this guy, Sean, that I met on the set of Mandalorian and Grogu, actually. But I didn't call him. Another friend of mine called some friends, and when they showed up, it was these two guys. And they were great. Alexa Mini, yeah, that's the I can't remember which one, but it was the ARRI Alexa. I don't know which one, but we were looking at one, but it was too expensive to rent with our budget, so we borrowed a Blackmagic for free from someone that had one. We need to talk about pistons and the slides. Mine are binding, and I have to make it better. Let me see. So, let me show you mine. Hold on a second. What time is it? Okay, I got 20 minutes left here. But give me a second. I'm back to all my freaking crazy. I don't even know what's going on. Here we go. Yay. All right, let me show you a thing if I have one. I have my. Do I have one out? I have my older arms here. One of them's available. And the pistons move really nice. You see these arms are super beat up, and the paint's all busted off. The greebles are broken and stuff. But these arms got used a bunch, and they move super smooth. They make a little noise, but they never bind. If you want, I can upload my piston files. I just got to remember to do it. And I print them. I'd have to see how you print yours. When I print these pieces horizontally like this. They're one piece. I don't know. I think Jesse's are they split? I can't remember how he does them. And mine have a little pin through the side here and a slot through the side of the piston rod. And there's a little pin that keeps it from coming out. In A New Hope, there was no slotted in the side. There was actually a little piece of wire that connected, and you can see it in some of the photos. If you look carefully, it's a really fine piece of wire that keeps this part from sliding out. Honey, Natalie's in here. I'm doing my first live stream in over a month.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be flying my drone, but now I'm showing 3PO arms. You know, you remember the Toronto thing?
What's Toronto?
The one that they're contacted me about going to Toronto to do 3PO, and Steven on here, who's another 3PO guy, got it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, it was. I think it's because it's a non-union thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so the other person that I know that was supposed to do one of the other droids basically got kicked off. Didn't get kicked off, but they nixed it for him too because he was Union. So I think that's why, because they asked me if I was Union.
Yeah.
So. Huh?
Oh,
he's awesome. Yeah. No, his suit looks great. Let me see here. It's the relationship on the actual slide part and not the piston itself. That action is binding. So, let me see. Do I have my new arms here? They're kind of put away. I have a new set of arms, and I did a little bit different design on the pistons, on the sliders, and they move pretty smooth. They're not broken in yet. I think they'll be okay. They're not as smooth as these. Like this one works pretty well. You can see the sliders really don't have much issue. Every once in a while, I'll get a little catch. It's just the right angle, but it's barely. Like it'll push through it. Let me think. So when I did my newest set of arms are very accurate to the screen use size and everything. They actually fit me really nice, and they're more accurate, which is great. But I liked Jesse's style sliders, where on mine, the ones that I did, this whole track comes off, and you basically slide the piston end into the track. And on my pistons here, I have a piece of I can't remember what I used. It's like literally like a piece of paper clip or a piece or a nail or something. So this piece has a hole through it, and I just cut a little piece of metal that fits in some of the channel, and it slides, and it works pretty well. And something, I don't know if you noticed, but this shape on mine, I made it a little beefier, which is less accurate, but for a printed part, it makes it stronger. And the way that the piece rocks on the inside is very specific, and if it's just a little off, it'll bind really bad. Because I probably have a box over here with like, hold on a second. Let's look here. Oops, there goes my arm. Like I've got boxes here with like tons of different piston pieces. So I think, oh look, here's one of my older designs. It's a little narrower. This one, it's not broken, but something weird's going on with it. Like this one's kind of an older style here that I did. This is more accurate. This looks like an accurate one, but because it's not metal, it's like this. I was worried this piece is gonna break, so I made this piece just a little beefier. It's pretty hidden in most photos, so I didn't think it mattered, like if it's not quite as accurate, if it's stronger. But because of this thing's rocking back and forth, if this little part is just a hair too long or a little too short, it'll either crash on the little nubby or it'll catch. It's just very fickle. So I had to experiment a lot to get it to move smoothly. Then I changed it to kind of match Jesse's, because the way Jesse's goes in, it like pops in and the whole tray kind of still comes out, but you don't have to worry about those little, I have these little tiny T kind of blocks at the end that go in and keep the pistons, which is like how the real ones were done on the old suits. There's like a little piece of metal that goes in, the screw goes through it, and it captures the piston. I designed it to act like that, but that was kind of a pain in the butt to work with. So I was like, I'll try Jesse's style. And then the way it's designed, I can always swap back to mine. Like on my arms, I can always just trade out the whole slider with my design if I want to. And I didn't take Jesse's file. I actually remodeled it based on his design. And it's okay so far, but it binds a little bit more than my version. However, I don't know if I mentioned this on here, but I got to do the replacement pistons for the red arm C-3PO for the screen used Force Awakens 3PO. They hired me to replace all the greeblies because it was missing the pistons and it was missing the little elbow connector. And is that it? I think that's it. I think it was just missing the front and back pistons and the elbow connector, and they needed replacements made. So I went in and measured all the ones off of the other arm and then I had to reassemble it, so I got to put the whole arm back together. I got a really good look at how it was built. And on the inside, where the slider is, like, grab this arm that fell, like this slider piece here is part of the forearm. It's not a separate piece. Like on mine and on the older suits, this piece could like be removed. But on the new suits, this piece is actually physically part of the arm, and then the slider is like on a separate track that hides up under the inside. So you can still see the bolts on the top here where it looks like it's screwed together, but that's holding the tray, kind of like the slider track on the inside in place. It's kind of confusing as to describe it, but it's actually like a really cool design because you never have to worry about the actual slider track coming undone while you're using the suit. It's just the way it's built is going to be really sturdy, and it's easy to print. So anyway, that's cool. Sorry, I'm missing these things. Let me see. I missed a bunch of stuff. Sorry, guys. Anymore, the camera doesn't matter so much. You can do so much with the picture and post that most cameras can do. I totally agree. I mean, initially when we were talking about shooting it, we were talking about shooting it on our DSLRs because they can look really, really good, and you can still shoot in like basically like no lookup table, just flat where it's what they call it. It's like essentially a camera raw, but for video it's where the LUT is just not existent. You can apply whichever one you want for your color space, and we could do that on the DSLRs. And it's just ours are 1080, but the thing is, there's programs that can upres it, and it looks beautiful. Not that I even need to. I think 1080 looks totally fine for most stuff. But anyway, we got a 4K camera for that. The relationship on the actual slide part, not the rod or pistons, that stuff's actually binding. Okay, that gives me an idea how to improve it. The angles and pressure off mine, it digs into itself. Exactly. It's really subtle. Like, it took me a lot of tries to figure out you should see the amount of, like, this end pieces that I tested. Because, like, man, I would get one and it would just work so great. Like, I did, I don't know if it's back there. The red arm that's on the right there, I did that for right when the Force Awakens came out. I made a red arm separate, and I painted one of my fiberglass arms because at the time I just had those fiberglass TK409 arms, which are stupid, and I 3D printed one arm as a thing, and I was like, I'll just make it, and if it's good, I'll wear it. And I wore it in a half marathon. They had a Star Wars half marathon, and I wore the red arm and ran for a full half marathon with that thing on my arm. And the track worked really, really, really great. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. And when I changed stuff, I altered it a little bit, and then it didn't work great for me. So it's kind of like my first attempt worked awesome, and then I did like 5 attempts after it that didn't work as well. Anyway, that's boring. Let's go back to flying drone stuff. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Let me switch back over to drone mode. Hold, please. We'll go to scene. We don't need to see display capture. We need to see game capture. Yay. Alright. Alright, we're back in action. Oops. I just flipped some switches I didn't mean to on my controller. How did I get back in here? What did I do? Back. Alright. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so that whole thing is how I got the arms to move. And those little things are fickle, especially when they're printed. I feel like the metal ones just have less problem if you have like a full metal setup. But maybe eventually when I get like a little lathe or something, I'll machine some for myself. And I've had people offer them to me, but they're always like, some of them look really, really, really good, but I can't verify that the measurements are perfect, or at least like how I want them to be. I had brass pistons I got a long time ago, and they look really nice, but they are too big. Like scale wise, they are just slightly the wrong scale, and it always bothered me. And they're heavy, heavy. When you're wearing the arms for hours, it's not like lifting weights or anything, but any extra weight that you can avoid is good. I talked to like Fawn Davis, built the TC-14 suit that was in uh, Phantom Menace, and he was saying when they built those later suits, the 3PO suits for the prequels, um, that the arm pistons were done kind of how I did the one for Adam Savage, where they have like metal. I have a metal tube inside and a metal slider, but then I just cast resin on top of the metal, so it has the shape of the pistons and all the actual moving components are metal, but I didn't have to machine anything. And I have the mold for it too. It's just like it actually worked really nice. It's just a little bit of a pain to set it up, and there's like a weird amount of cleanup. And when you're done, it's not bad. But then you can put like a regular aluminum rod, and it's got aluminum basically or aluminum tube that the rods slides through, and it looks right because the resin makes the shape. But apparently that's what they did for the prequel suits. And I just watched. They had Revenge of the Sith in the theater, and we just watched it last week. Just took a break and went to see it. And 3PO has two right shoulders in that movie, and it makes me nuts. And I never noticed it before because it's been a long time since I watched them. I don't think I watched the prequels too many times since I started doing 3PO, like being, wearing the costumes and dealing with stuff. And he's got two right shoulders. And I'm like, did they not realize that? And I think I actually noticed that on the costume when it was at a display in, it was on display in Orlando, I think. And I was like, oh, it looks like it's got like another right shoulder. But I thought maybe when they went to display it, like sometimes the people running running the archives will put the things together, and they won't realize that they've put something on backwards, or like there's been multiple times when like a piece is just on the wrong way, and everybody will, the fans will notice and like, hey, that's upside down, and I thought that was just a mistake from the archives, but it's in the damn movie with two right shoulders. And I don't know if when they were making the new suits for the prequels, if they just were like, oh, we'll just cast one, like mold one shoulder and do two castings, or if they just mixed it up. It's very weird. Nobody aside from us know the difference. I always have to tell the handler which shoulder is which. I know that. That's like on my suit. It's part of the reason why I like having the shoulders attached to the torso before I get in it. Like the shoulders are just on there when I go to put the suit on, so I don't have to worry about any of that, which is pretty nice. But I just went backwards. But yeah, the two right shoulders, I couldn't stop looking at it. Every time 3PO was on the screen, I was like, oh my god, he's got another right shoulder. Oh my god. But yeah, so anyway, that's pretty neat. And what the heck else? We went to Japan, went to Disney Sea, and Disney Sea is the most incredible theme park I've ever been to in my life. It was unfreaking real. My wife was getting sick of me saying, like, how do they do this? How do they make this thing? The theming of all the lands was so amazing. And there would be like, you walk around a corner and go through a little cave, and you're in an underground giant land that is beautiful, and you can barely find it. And it's like, oh, you just came through that little passageway, and now you're down here. Holy cow! You would go through another little tunnel, and you're in a whole giant area that you couldn't see from anywhere else in the park, and every inch of it looks like real rocks. Like the artists that worked on that place were incredible, and the scale is so out of control. Oh, ESP, showing the Academy Museum today. Missed the SB tickets by that much. Oh man. Oh, I wonder who it was at the Academy Museum. I feel like somebody brought that up. Um, did when you went to the Academy Museum, did you see that the Force Awakens 3PO? I think it's on display there still with the red arm. That's where it was last time I heard. I would have liked to have seen ESB in the theater. And was it the version like when they did the kind of like the special edition, and they did all those changes and they added all that crap at Tatooine and New Hope, and then they added Darth Vader saying no, no. Oh my god, the worst. And they changed the ending with all the Ewoks. But Empire Strikes Back, they changed some of Cloud City, and that was the only one that I thought like this actually is an improvement for the most part. It's like doesn't distract from the film; it just makes it feel bigger. Um, but they also fixed a lot of the stuff with like ghosting when they're flying the snow speeders. You could see through the the frame of the window and stuff, which should be completely opaque metal. You could kind of see ghosting of the background through those areas, and even as a kid, it distracted me. And they fixed that in the that special edition. So I'm very curious. Missing the SB ticks. Wife when I skipped that the day last time was there. Was Don Beast talk the other year? Yeah, I think I was at that Don Beast talk. That was, and Senna had his R2 there. And that was in. That was in. Is that January of 2023? Am I remembering correctly? I remember going to that, and I was doing. I think I was working in Manhattan Beach, and then I tried to go to the thing after, and we made it, but it was easily like almost 90 minutes to get from Manhattan Beach to the Academy Museum, which is insane. I'm like, how is it this? It's only like 6 miles or something, or 8 miles. It's so close, but the traffic was so bad. I'm like, well, it takes me almost the exact same time to get there coming all the way from Lancaster. Like if I go in the morning, I could probably get to the Academy Museum in that same time as it took me to go from Manhattan Beach to the Academy Museum, which is easily I've run further than that. I've actually run further than Lancaster to the Academy Museum, but that's another story. So that takes available way to ask my wife. Came back and take it for gone. Oh my god. I know, that's painful. I didn't even know that was going on. They were playing another one. I think they were playing Phantom Menace. Is that the one? Was that you said? Hold on, let me see if that's what you wrote. Oh yeah, the Phantom Menace. That's where I saw the thing. Did they have Ahmed come out to talk about Phantom Menace beforehand? Because I know he was doing an event somewhere where they're playing the Phantom Menace on like the big screen. And that might have been the same one. Wow. Oh, almost crashed. Yeah, man, hanging with Don Beast. He's like a cool guy. He came to my house one time when I lived in North Hollywood, and that was very surreal. It's like, oh, Don Beast is here. It's just what the fuck. I wish I took a photo with him in front of my front door because he needed a 3PO part. He had a helmet or something that was, I don't know if it was screen used or production made, but it was like a really good 3PO helmet, but it was missing the little ear bolts and the um, the antenna, and he wanted to know if I had a metal 3PO antenna, and I had one, and it was just aluminum, and he said, "God, it's gotta be gold, but maybe you could paint it." And I basically did polish the aluminum, super shiny, and then just did the tinted clear coat so that it would match. And then it went on that 3PO head, and he came over, came over to my house to pick it up. He was in town, and that was it. Came by, picked it up, and Don Beast was at my house. Gotta head to bed. V5 suit is on the way. Using your shorts and the flexible parts. I'm excited to see those. We'll hopefully design some of the new piston slides now with these ideas. I'm very excited to see all your flexible 3PO bits in action because the materials look really cool. And I'll be back now that I'm actually home again. April was crazy, and after next Wednesday probably I'll be back and doing my Patreon stuff, and that's like the first time in a month I'll kind of be like sort of normal schedule. I do technically have a job now, but it's kind of weird hours currently until more stuff comes up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but it'll be nice to kind of like settle down and not be going nuts all day, all the time for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. But I am done with my drone session too. It's been an hour, so I am going to call it here. Let me click out of this. Well, yeah. So I'm gonna click out of this thing. I didn't do anything too exciting flying wise, but I felt like I did better. That I just sort of checked out and flew, and I was able to get through some little windows. Felt pretty good. So let's see here. Yeah, that's that. Hopefully, I'll get some footage of my getting bottles broken over my head soon. I'll post the bottles getting busted on my noggin online soon. You can tell I got a little bit too much sun. And then I'm working on some crazy ass animatronic mask thing that I'm going to be in, but I'm also getting to work on it. So as I get details on that, I will be able to share them more. It's not super exciting, but it's pretty exciting. It's all custom made to go on me, but it's not for anything specific. I'll say that. Yeah, that's it. I'm freaking exhausted. Thanks for stopping by. Glad to be back on here. I will see you kids.